Greetings to everyone, all stakeholders all around the world from the WSIS+20 Forum High-Level Event 2024. Today I'm here with Moira and Mei Lin, who moderated the Leaders Talks here that comprised of high-level speakers, ministers, head of regulatory bodies, civil society heads, academia, technical community. So they were really a vibrant and inspiring round of talks. And I'd like to ask Moira first, what was the key takeaway that you had from your Leaders Talks?
Well, thanks for having me here, and it was really a privilege to be a moderator. And it was because I got to learn something new. I had the honor of moderating a panel with a number of internet regulators. And the big takeaway was how central they feel their role is to creating trust in the internet stack. And I think that's so important, that trust and collaboration really is at the heart of the internet at every level. And that was the big takeaway for me.
Thank you, Moira. Of course, we are all together as a multi-stakeholder community striving towards a trusted, connected world. I'll move on to Mei Lin. So, Mei Lin, what were some challenges mentioned or some opportunities? What was the key takeaway from your session?
Well, the challenges that people mentioned were daunting. Of course, there's the funding and financing of e-government. So the topic that I had was click to govern.
Yes.
And how does the government provide e-services that are inclusive and efficient? But we really came up with how does the government respond to the citizens? That governing is actually serving the citizens. So the government has to find the money to do the services. Has to be inclusive, that to serve all kinds of demographics, including urban-rural divides. Slovenia brought up the whole issue of different abilities, different generations. Truly, the issues facing countries doing e-government are daunting. But my big takeaway is they were solving them. And the biggest takeaway, again, was Slovenia, who was the former chairperson of WSIS last year. She said, we share and learn from other countries. That, in fact, we're only able to make this progress because we're learning from each other. And to me, this was the beauty of the WSIS Action Line, the takeaway that you have WSIS Action Line 7, and people can look at what the other countries are doing and learn from that, and they don't have to be frustrated. They don't have to do trial and error. They can actually pick up the phone and talk to another country. Oh, you face that same problem. Let's learn from you. And it was a beautiful session of sharing and learning.
Thank you, Mei Lin. Like we always say, the WSIS forum is about networking, learning from each other, and sharing of experiences. And this is also what our WSIS stock-taking repository is all about. Yes. We have more than 200,000 stakeholders there who are submitting their projects based on WSIS action lines and the SDGs. So thank you, Mei Lin. So we also heard that there was a lot of discussion around the WSIS process during the leaders talks, and what has the process achieved in these 19 years, I would say, because the 20th year is next year, and the future of the process, because we as UN agencies, ITU, UNESCO, UNDP, UNCTAD, through CSTD and UNDESA have been having a lot of conversations around the future of the WSIS process, the WSIS+20 review. So Moira, first what were the key discussions in your session?
I think what really shone through to me was, one, the collaboration and just the degree to which countries needed to count on each other. There was a really interesting story about how Poland responded when Ukrainians crossed their border, and just how life-saving that collaboration among nations was, and the ability to increase their bandwidth to be able to allow people to have life-saving access to information. And the other piece that really shone through to me was just how confident the system allows governments and regulators to be in absorbing new technologies. You know, we see everything, we see AI coming in, but that history of collaboration allows some of the smaller countries, and this is what Montenegro really brought to the table, allows smaller countries to work with each other to figure out how they can be best in class, even though they don't have the same advantages as some of the bigger countries. And I think that's really the number one thing that the process allows us to look at a range of issues, from AI to spam attacks, which Sweden brought up, and how they're able to share those best practices, and how they can't do it without other entities. Something like spam from a bank or I'm sorry, SMS, a false SMS, pretending to be from an institution. They need those institutions to be able to come to the table to create that trust and confidence. So the history of the process is really what gives them confidence to address the needs of the people.
Yes, and you represent the technical community in the Leaders Talk. So from the perspective of the technical community, what was your understanding and key takeaway of how the WSIS process is moving forward?
Well, I think what I heard from the technical community is that they needed, in order to talk to other entities of the community, they need civil society, they need policymakers to give them the frameworks to be able to do their job in the most trustworthy way. And you know, they want to do their jobs. They want to connect all of us. And we saw, for instance, during COVID, how they delivered for the world.
Yes.
And it was policymakers being there to assist them and enable them to do that made for the most successful cases.
Thank you, Moira. Mei Lin, in your Leaders Talks, you know, it was a truly multi-stakeholder one, and of course it was about providing services to the citizens. And did you also touch upon something related to the WSIS process in its entirety?
I think the outstanding thing that came across to me was that these are people who have been coming to WSIS year after year, that they have met people. There's a trust and a relationship building that WSIS has enabled over 20 years that is not replaceable by anything. 20 years is 20 years. You have a sense of confidence, of trust, of relationship building. What I was very impressed with Philippines, they had a whole bunch of different applications, and the minister was so proud to say, hey, a citizen can make a report, and within 1 minute, 37 seconds, it got to the person who could respond to it. This is incredible. Yes. You know, I mean, people are actually talking about setting the bar high for each other. The Philippines is saying, we have 1 minute, 37 seconds. Can you beat that? Now that is incredible. Governments competing to serve their citizens.
Yes.
I love it. But that's only possible with the trust. So I'd like to refer to this morning. I was at the AI Governance Summit. It actually happened that the ministers and regulators said, we want the ITU to help us with AI governance because we have confidence through the WSIS process that the relationships have been built. So that was a particular example of the importance of friendship and trust building that really ITU has fostered over 20 years.
Exactly. Thank you, Mei Lin. And both of you met here during the summit.
We did.
And already have a partnership coming up.
That's what collaboration,
exactly,
the WSIS brings you.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Yes.
Mei Lin. Thank you, Moira.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gitanjali.